Well, today I'm going to cover a topic of spirituality in a sense that I'm going to probably tear down a particular paradigm or a particular group. So before I do, I'd like to declare that this is all in good intentions. Whenever I call somebody out on something, I don't do it for the sake of belittling them. I don't do it for the sake of making myself feel better or bigger. I do it for the sense that when I can see through a fraud and I can see a hoax or see bullshit perpetrated on the people, I feel like it's my duty to speak out. And I never would have actually sought out this particular video to make this video. I never would have sought out these people, but they sought me out, so I decided that I would retort. So let me start off. I'm everything I have here is on my little fire, and so I'm trying to flip through here. I have this thing. There's this idea I'm going to cover here called vortex healing. Okay, and now I got an email from this. Here we go. I could show you what it looks like here. Transforming to a new paradigm. Ascension activations. With the smiling, pretty face. You know, this is often what the spiritual community is resorted to when they're trying to take people's hopes and desires and try to tell you what you want to hear. This has been going on since mankind has been here. We've been trying to tell each other the right answers to things. What's true, what's not true, and it just becomes almost unbearable sometimes. A little bit chilly out here. So here's what it says. This is an email I got, and I don't know how I got on this mailing list, but I'm going to assume that it was because I signed up for something called the Intention Experiment a few years back. Because I really don't sign up for very many things at all, ever. And it's like once you get on this mailing list of these certain places, other people will. Let's just get into let's get to the nitty gritty here. Ascension activations with Meg Benedict, quantum healer, channeler of Metatron. Now that part really got me, and I thought, I've studied Metatron's cube and sacred geometry, and when I hear people say that they're a channeler of Metatron, it makes me kind of like, what does that, what are you saying here? What the hell is a quantum healer? Okay, this is taking modern terminology and just putting a twist on it to try to make it sound like something fancy, and to me that really called my attention. And so they have it must have been from the Intention thing, because there's a Global Intentions broadcast, a free live teleseminar, and a Merkaba course. A Merkaba course. Okay, now I'm going to get to the point here, because this is I went and did my research on this lady, this quantum healer, Meg Benedict, and join Meg Benedict in a live healing conversation. Embrace your passion. Activations, meditations, and discussions to open hearts, empower millions, and raise vibrations of the planet. Let's see. Join Meg Benedict, Manet Mays, and starseeds and lightworkers around the world from one mind as we claim our sovereign planet, united in seeding the new Earth paradigm into the crystalline grids and golden mean spirals in all the pyramid and sacred sites. We're all into sacred sites. We're all into this energy, and many of us anyway that have, researched the idea that perhaps these were energy centers, and all the sacred sites on Earth sitting on ley lines, and there's something to it, and we haven't quite figured out what that to it is yet, and this is what people are trying to cash in on. And he says, drawing from 20 years of Ascension experience, Meg Benedict developed a time-tested program that will rocket you into the stratosphere of higher consciousness, so that you too can alter the direction of your life forever. Learn how to use your energy field in the new 5D method, shifting into the vertical quantum flow of life force. Let go of your old patterns that no longer work in the new paradigm. Step into the quantum vortex and accelerate your energy, frequency, and personal evolution to living as a divine human. and join other spiritual leaders in this cutting-edge consciousness movement as we birth alive a new 5D Earth. All of these things are capitalized, all these little terms, like, for example, divine human is capitalized, spiritual leaders capitalized, quantum vortex, everything in here that, you're trying to make an impact and make it sound like it's authoritative. And so this is the 5-week webinar. It includes 90-minute live webinar, 5 weekly hour-and-a-half webinars with Meg Benedict will introduce her time-tested Ascension process. So then we get into this part. This is where I Googled her name to find out what I could on this, and came up with this page. Are we really living in the 5th dimension? Consistent to below points from 1 through 5, an act of plagiarism is reflected on Meg Benedict. Cheap imitation of products and services which are being offered and are basically taken or copied from other healing modalities and terminologies, which are blatantly ripped off over a period of time. It's creating a blotch on spirituality, thus creating undue confusion among the audience of spiritual community. We request the whole spiritual community to come together and reject such imitation, cheating, and fraud. They just don't insult services and holistic work done by spiritual community, but it's an insult to every spiritual seeker, not in the 5th dimension, but even for beings living in much lower dimensions. So this page goes on and to talk about what a fraud she is and how she stole this term, because she's using quantum healing, or vortex healing, and these people had this quantum vortex healing. And so this goes on back and forth arguing about who had the name first, who had the idea first. And here's one group of these spiritual people trying to call out another. And they both sound like they're full of shit. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that it sounds like a bunch of crap. So here's where I get into the people who are talking about it. I approached this healing center for advertised quantum vortex healing and realized it's not something I wanted. They falsely used someone else's methods of healing and advertised at their own. They had taken away my confidence from spirituality. Don't believe this lady Meg Benedict. I feel cheated after this experience. Then the next person. I have been in Meg's membership for years. She's the real deal. She has tirelessly helped us all for years, teaching us to use the quantum vortex to heal ourselves and others. There are many imposters out there that want to take what she has and call it their own. They should be ashamed to call themselves healers and light workers. I'm sorry you did not search your own heart for truth. And this is really the point that I wanted to get to, because this is when the people begin discussing the issues. People start using this little poking and prodding. Oh, maybe you're just not spiritually there yet. Maybe you're just not aware. Oh, you just haven't seen the truth yet. It just gets ludicrous. I have been a student of Meg's for years. She's a spiritual powerhouse dedicating her life to helping others awaken to the light and teaching them techniques to raise their vibration. What I like about it is that she walks the student through the steps and explains the details. It might not be for everyone, but try someone else more to your liking. If you don't resonate with Deepak Chopra, do you claim he is a fake? Personally, he does not rock my spiritual boat the way Meg can. And then he goes on to talk about how everybody's jealous. And they're just jealous of her. And, after I'd already done the research to see she's a fraud, then, you can see that the comments are people who are totally misinformed and really want to believe her. It does no good to attack her and take attention away from her doing God's work. Shame on you. It's not as if anyone's getting rich doing this work, and most people would not want to put up with the endless questions and complaints of the students and such calmness and forgiveness. Well, no one's getting rich doing it, but when you're charging $450 for a web seminar, you're not doing too bad. So it goes on and on, and you find that after you're reading through it that many of these people who have left comments are obviously not just students of hers, but probably her little group and crew. Some of them would come in and they defended these points over and over. This is the kind of stuff, it's people put their faith into alternative therapy and believe that it works, only to find out it's just turning into another business. I hope some good sense prevails and such scams stop sooner than later. We all have to answer these doing one day. Shocking to hear such things. I have been in spirituality for most of for most part of my life and never came across any similar experience, though I was aware that some people took personal advantage to make a few extra bucks by copying certain steps in Reiki and other modalities, but engaging in such a way is terrible. I'd rather research thoroughly before following any teacher now. Thank you. Yes, please. Research thoroughly before following any teacher. The fact that you can means that you should. You can Google someone's name. And the reason why people don't, it's often because we don't want to know. We don't want to know we've been lied to. For example, will a Christian go and seek out things that contradict the Bible merely to try to find flaw in his own thinking? No. You want to keep your faith, and when you believe in the spiritual teachers, you don't want to find out that they're lying to you, even if it's blatantly right in front of your face. Now, there's one more thing on here I'm hoping I can find. If this is the part that got me inspired to make the video. And then there's this guy, Truth Seeker, who comes in here and starts arguing against the lady and saying she's a phony, and then everybody says, oh, you're not a truth seeker. Look who's talking. You're the real phony, dear. You don't answer a thing to what I asked. I'm not surprised if it's you speaking from a phony name. And then they go on attacking each other's names. So here's one of the supposedly spiritual students of Meg's, who's responding to this guy who just says that, these people are lost and haven't looked into it. This person who says all these exist in names. Okay, by the way, thanks but no thanks for your offer of your Bible. I can't be converted that easily. Smiley face. P.S. If you aren't here to hear people exactly, in parentheses, learn some English. Somebody accidentally mistyped a letter. And here's a guy who comes on here to say, I don't believe this lady's true. And somebody calls him out on his spelling. What kind of a spiritual student would do such a stupid thing? I mean, who would get so petty and become so pathetic over something like that? There's like a PPS, a PPPS, a PPPPS, and they go on acting like children. But this is the part that got me. What students are saying, what people are saying, what people are sharing about quantum vortex healing classes based on sacred teachings of the ancient mystery schools. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Meg, you're a fucking fraud. Sorry, but that part got me. I've looked into the mystery schools. I've been researching mystery schools for years. You are not teaching anything from the mystery schools. Completely bullshit. Now that I take personally because, mystery schools are one of those things we just don't know about. And we do our best to learn as much as we can. But, it's just pathetic. And then they end up, here's more from Meg on the upcoming shift, the end of the Mayan calendar, and more. I've received many questions about the upcoming quantum shift and the end of the Mayan calendar. This is obviously a few years ago. And how to prepare for such a momentous, once-in-a-lifetime event. Many people are curious, excited, and perplexed about changing world, the unstable economy, the bizarre weather patterns, the polarized government. It's always been polarized. Redistribution of global wealth and resources to 1%, just to name a few of the concerns we have about our future world. So yeah, you grab all those concerns, throw them into a bucket, and say, hey, this is going to heal those problems? During 2012, we were experiencing Earth's alignment with our galactic equator when our solar system entered the 2,000-year phase of the photonic light infusion. The Mayan calendar predicts the final day of transformation will occur in the winter solstice, December 21st, the tipping point when the Earth's polarity will shift into the galactic rhythm of counterclockwise motion. At this moment of change, we will enter into an eternal space of no time, marking our emergence into the galactic age. I was first introduced to the 2012 phenomenon almost 20 years ago when I received a downpour of energetic ignitions, visions, and mind-altering pineal explosions during my Kundalini activation of the January 94 Los Angeles earthquake. My entire life was redirected on that tragic day to preparing, healing, and clearing in time for the quantum shift on December 21st. I became aware that I had a role working with starseed souls so that we could join forces and together uplift Gaia and humanity into the next realm. I was guided to work with vortex energy, sacred geometry, and harmonic tones to shapeshift out of the human body matrix of 3D duality and liberate my human spirit to blend and merge with my divine spirit. It has taken me 2 decades to unlock the magnetic force field of gravity so that I can recode my DNA to better reflect the truth of my soul. The hold of density has been overwhelming to unravel. With the powerful quantum vortex, we have a tool that dissolves polarity into singularity and opens our ability to bridge across the dimensions of space-time. You know what any of that means? Neither do I. So, I was flipping through the different weeks. So here's what we have. We'll just jump forward. Week 7, open and activate right brain, balance left-right hemisphere. Week 8, activate pineal gland, expand multi-dimensional neural network to higher self. Week 9, connect with soul, presence, our energetic signature, frequency, soul lineage, and purpose. Use quantum vortex to build soul-body fusion. Week 10, ignite the upward resurrection spiral of quantum vortex to increase Kundalini life force in chakra pillar, our ascending light spiral to higher self. Week 11, access and connect particle/antiparticle field. Activate alchemy in the quantum field. Activate alchemy in the quantum field. I mean, can you not see where I'm going with this? It's just, activate alchemy? This is like using big words that people enjoy these days. You know, people have really gotten into alchemy. People have gotten into these spiritual star seeds and all these things. And this bitch just lumps them all together and tries to sell them to you. That was kind of harsh. Shouldn't call her a bitch. She may very well believe what she's saying. But from the things that I've read, I don't think so. I really don't. And there's just too much in there. You know, people... Metatron wouldn't talk about quantum vortexes and healing modalities of the pineal gland and stuff and the chakras. You know, this is many different cultural ideas all put together into one, along with modern science. Week 12, connect oversoul to axiotonal lines in body. Blend and unite light body with physical body. Activate sacred geometry template to access Akashic records. The Akashic records are supposedly this, you know, all the records of life, you know. Some people believe they're contained within this crystal skulls. Some people believe it's something you can tap into in the energy field. But, so that's it. And I figured the reason why I had to read all this is just because I wanted to make my point without just me saying this is what I think. You know, this is what people are actually saying. As well as this is what Meg's claiming to say, you know. And the funniest thing was to hear them arguing about, you know, who came up with the name first. I mean, here's one fraud trying to get another fraud over, you know. It's So here, before I go, I'm gonna make this point clear, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that will say, dude, why do you have to harsh on somebody else? How do you know? Maybe they do have the right method. Maybe she has something figured out we don't. Hey man, light workers are real. You know, you're full of it. You're just trying to diss them. No, that's not what I'm doing here. What I'm doing is saying that I've heard at least 50 different methods to attaining your ascension or your higher being. I've heard at least 50 different end times ideas. I've heard 50 different theories about how to activate your pineal gland and your chakras. And amidst it all, I would really like to know if there was something true to it, just like everyone else would. But you have to wade through the BS. So when you hear something that's bullshit, it sounds like bullshit, you have to call it out. And if it doesn't need defense, then it will stand the test of time. In other words, I'm not going to sit here and say that she's a complete fraud. She may have actually convinced herself that what she thinks is true. But this is my theory on why most of this is BS. I believe that anyone who had reached a state of quantum awareness, or whatever you want to call it, who was channeling a higher entity or a higher being, Metatron, and trying to help people to attain a better earth, for our future. I'm sure that this entity would make it pretty clear that this should be done for free, that this work should be done for free, and if it is done for free, then what she needs will come to her. Because this is one of the basic principles of spirituality, is you get what you need and you give what you can. This is something that crosses all boundaries, all spiritual teachings. If you want to charge $20 per person to try to cover the expenses of the research you're doing, the website maybe that you have to keep up, the chats, the videos, the organization, and your time, you know, you can usually, if your business is good, a good legitimate teaching, people will donate to you to assist. And if it's not a good legitimate cause, then people won't donate. And that's why the church started the collection plate, forcing people to be recognized as donating or not donating by saying, hey, you're not putting money in. And this is kind of a church collection plate in a way of saying, well, if you don't want to pay for it, then you'll just you just don't understand how important it could be. But on the other hand, I see if it's so important, it shouldn't cost anything. All the best things in life are free, and all the most important things in life are free. And if there really are these ascended masters and beings out there that are being channeled through people, then it's my belief that these people would be told by these entities that this should be done and spread out as much as possible, which means not charging people to do it. Because most of the people that need the most spiritual help are those who often are very poor. I shouldn't say the most spiritual help, I should say those who seek out these answers are often people who are desperate. Maybe not poor, but desperate. They could be financially or metaphorically poor, you know, spiritually poor. It's easy to get sucked into people's shit, the things that people say, and when they sound like they know what they're talking about, when they're using big words, you know. The average, I understand most of those terms in there, except for, you know, obviously quantum vortex healing is something that was totally made up. But when other people that don't research these things hear things like, oh, the mystery schools, really? Oh, alchemy? This is going to teach me alchemy? This is awesome. I've heard about that. Somebody I know a few years back went to get their bars read, and this is kind of a modern version of the chakra reading, if you want, and it's hundreds of dollars to have it done. I think the first one is like free or cheaper, and then they charge you like $300 per session to basically activate your chakras or read your bars, is what they call it, and that you can heal these wounds. And you find most of the people that claim to heal your spirit are the ones that are charging the most to do it. So this has turned into a long video tearing down many modern spiritual teachers and not teachers, no, spiritual frauds. And those who use big words, those who try to throw quantum and alchemy into their mix, I'm suspect. So I make this video in hopes that when one person goes out there looking for information on, say, Meg Benedict, when you Google that name, the whole first list is all stuff from her and her cronies, you know, supporting it and how great it is. My hopes is that there will be one video on this page where people can have a different opinion. Not that mine's right. My point being that the more opinions we have against things that we don't feel are right or true, then the more options people have. Because those who attach to ideas tend to support them, and those who ignore them just ignore them. But there's a few of us out there who feel like we have to speak out on things that just sound like bullshit. And I don't like seeing people get ripped off, so I'll leave you at that. Bid you adieu, And I gotta go because I gotta activate my chakras. I need some chakra balancing tattoos.